Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Well, we've made it to a Friday, and normally I'm saying it's a great day, look forward to the weekend and all that. But I think that we need to address Storm Babette. It's been wet and horrible here, but as nothing compared to sort of Aberdeen and Angus area. I've seen the news articles and weather and whatever. Absolutely horrendous. I know people have lost lives, so hoping there's an end to it there. So you've had all this rain, an immense amount, and I know there's more to come. So if you are affected, you have my sympathy. There's nothing I can do about it, of course, but do try and keep well, do keep safe, take care. But we do have a lot of stories to get through today, and some of them are quite serious and grim in a couple of cases. Some are lighter, and I thought we'd start with a rather light one. Just to get the ball rolling and keep it, nice to start with, and we'll work on through. This is about the SNP and their obvious lack of money. They've put out a party political, but they lack the money to shoot new footage, and so they've been forced to use old footage. None more evident than the fact that there was a tower block that no longer exists, and that Mhairi Black has bleached blonde hair. And she hasn't had that for years. Anyway, we'll take a look, see what's going on, see why they're so desperate that they have to reuse old footage. Here goes. I mean, we shouldn't be surprised they've got no money. Falling membership, no corporate sponsors, still got great expenses. It's whittling down the funds. But even so, you'd think, when looking at it, that have picked up on things that are pretty obvious. So, Mhairi Black and the SNP are humiliated as party political broadcast features a raised Glasgow tower block. They're talking about child poverty, and they showed the picture of this tower block, this tenement. Doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. And Mhairi Black with blonde hair. They put that in the party political broadcast. She hasn't had that for years. Anyway, the cash-strapped Nats are having to recycle old video footage for their party political broadcasts, including a shot of a block of flats that was demolished in 2016, and old images of Mhairi Black with bleach blonde hair. Oh, bless. The new party political broadcast by the SNP features a block of flats in Glasgow that was demolished, and video footage of Mhairi Black from 8 years ago. The cash-strapped party raided the archives for the new BBC broadcast, which was narrated by the outgoing Commons Deputy Commons leader, Mhairi Black. She claims this isn't just a cost of living crisis. This is a cost of Westminster crisis. No, Mhairi, I'm going to suggest it's a cost of SNP crisis. The SNP are so poverty-stricken that they can't go out and even film new footage. Why on earth would you be narrating this with 8-year-old hair? You know. Anyway, it shows Miss Black, who's standing down as an MSP for Paisley and Renfrewshire South, which will improve the livelihoods of people in Paisley and Renfrewshire South, strolling around London in footage that is identical to a previous video shot just after she was first elected in 2015, when she had short blonde hair. These days, she has wavy brown locks. I bet it's just dirt, Greasy locks is the thing there. In addition, one scene in the broadcast features the Norfolk Court Tower block in the Gorbals, which was knocked down in 2016. It's now been completely redeveloped. The development is at the heart of Nicola Sturgeon's Glasgow Southside constituency, and she even handed over the keys to the first residents. It doesn't exist. But they are so... Well, of course, they've got these falling numbers. They claim they've got nearly 75,000 members. And I'm going to just say 75,000 members, my arse. They are 800,000 in the hole. They're getting no sponsorship. They can't afford it. They're buggered, aren't they? They're absolutely buggered. And that is why they're having to use this old footage. They're going, give us what we got. We'll use that. That's a good example. Nobody's done the research. Can't afford a researcher. And it wouldn't take that much to get someone with even a phone. Just get your phone out and record Mhairi Black walking down the street with her new wavy dirty hair. It's not difficult. Anyway, the recycled footage was picked up by the latest edition of Private Eye magazine under the headline SNP'd Off, which featured the defeat to Labour in the Rutherglen and Hamilton West by-election, and Miss Black's own unsavoury behaviour, where she threatened to resign unless she got away over her choice of successor. Now, we showed, talking of that choice of successor, Innes, isn't it? His name, Innes? Ian Innes? No. Mike Innes. Anyway, Paul Innes. There we go. Paul, I didn't get there. Paul Innes. So, Innes failed vetting. Now, there was a woman councillor the other day who passed vetting, and she used the N-word. We've done the video on that. If you can do that and pass vetting, it just goes to show how bad Innes must be to fail it. And she wants him? Get out of here. Anyway, the magazine said, the week after the Rutherglen rout, Black narrated an SNP party political broadcast featuring the huge Norfolk Court tower block in the Gorbals area of Glasgow. It was an unfortunate shot to use since it was demolished in 2016. So it's been gone 7 years. It was first spotted by a user on X. Oh, look, formerly Twitter. Just call it X. Stop using formerly Twitter, or just do what we do and call it bloody Twitter. Anyway, it was picked up by readers of the fiercely pro-nationalist but anti-SNP blog Wings Over Scotland. They noticed the footage of Black was identical to that used in the 2015 video. Yeah, because they can't. How hard is it to go out with a phone and just record it? Ridiculous, isn't it? The brutal blog post, written by Stuart Campbell, said, alert readers may have already noticed something odd, because Mhairi Black, who narrates the broadcast and is depicted strolling around London for much of it, with a very serious expression on her face, cut with lots of grim shots of Glasgow for contrast, hasn't looked like that for years. The bizarre hairstyle that she came into Parliament with in 2015, basically bleached blonde dunked in chip fat and combed hard with a paint scraper. Oh, that's bitchy, isn't it? Steadily softened over the years into the much more traditional wavy brown locks she now sports. Still dirty, though. Still greasy, isn't it? The demolition of Norfolk Court, the last high-rise block in the Gorbals, to make way for hundreds of new homes for the new Gorbals Housing Association, made headlines across Scotland in 2016. He says, one of the most famous former residents was the comedian and broadcaster Des Clark. Was it really? He said in 2016, my block has gone. Almost all the flats have. It was the right decision. He says times have moved on and new buildings are more likely. A modern version of old tenements the Gorbals was famous for. You see the old pictures of the Gorbals, it's grim, isn't it? Not saying it's not grim now, but it's not as grim, you know. Despite this, the SNP are still using the grim image of the long demolished flats to illustrate the party's attempt to blame Westminster for child poverty in Scotland. 17 years of SNP rule. That's why you've got child poverty in Scotland. Nothing to do with Westminster. And Westminster keep giving you money, but you don't put it where it needs to be. You keep spending it on other things. So don't keep blaming Westminster. And if Westminster is so ineffective, you have to answer the question then, why is she there? Is she ineffective? Is she not fighting for Scotland's corner? Doesn't seem like it, does it? Anyway, she's resigning, so she can give her daddy's suit back and maybe, have a bath. That'd make a change. She could sit in the bath. Snorting Kit Kat. Coming up. They don't like it when you point out their faults, you know. They'll be complaining, how dare you, how dare you. Oh, Mhairi Black deliberately chose this. We would deliberately do it. That's what they'll come up with. A load of old rubbish. They were desperate and they didn't understand what they were doing. They, oh, that'll do. Because they're lazy as well. They have no artistic integrity. And I think that's the bigger crime. Anyway, I shall stop there. Thank you very much for watching. Like I say, if you are in one of the affected areas with Storm Babette, please take care. We don't want to read any more deaths. We don't want to see any injuries. And remember, property, let it go. Property is not life. Best of luck. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and let's just keep seeing, what the SNP come up with next, because it's bound to be even worse. Bye.